So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for yet another talk in the Delhi Bird Talk series. Today, we've got a very special talk about the birds of Himachal Pradesh by Dr. Abhinav. I will hand it over to Atul to give a brief context about the talk and to introduce Dr. Abhinav. Atul, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Kavi. Well, Dr. Abhinav is a doctor, which I would say that, he's a doctor by accident and a birder by choice. That is the way, at least, I describe and in fact admire him as a matter of fact. The most important thing is that Dr. Abhinav is a friend. So I happen to know him more than, I think 15 years now. I also attended his wedding, a couple of years back. And we had the privilege of, traveling along with Dalai Lama in the plane. That was a special guest. I just didn't realize that he's in the same flight. And then, of course, wedding was a very large Himachali affair. And had the privilege of having one of the finest wedding meal. It's called Dham. There were scores and hundreds of dishes coming after, one after other. So I think that was a very, very interesting moment. I have birded a lot with him, and fundamentally the way he looks at the whole ecological system along with the birds and as well as other wildlife forms, that's extremely interesting. And he's almost, and I think I still would agree with Dr. Parash's comment that he's like a burrel, mountain goat. With his camera of some 500 mm, like a few seconds. I still can't forget a day when we were birding up from McLeodganj, and we happened to see a big flock of spectacled finch. And the moment I said spectacled finch, and within few seconds I saw Dr. Abhinav right there and clicking these birds, and we were like panting and this thing to go up. He has got that mountain blood in his veins, and that's what make him special. What is very important in this presentation today is that people would assume that Himachal birds is known to everyone, but I think the way he has worked in this state and he's trying to kind of carry forward the work which has been done by D. Beston, who was based out of Dharamshala. I think that's extremely endearing. And once you go through these slides, you'll understand what I'm saying. So, Dr. Abhinav, all over to you now, and we look forward to having this presentation
now. Thank you, Atulji, for these kind words. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Delhi Bird for providing me the opportunity to speak here. And you all know that Delhi Bird has been promoting birding since long. So back in 2004, I saw an advertisement in Century Asia that Delhi Bird has been providing a book, a photographic field guide to birds of India at some discount price. So what sale mean to Indian people. So I immediately ordered it. And then my real birding started from then because the books which I had only covered few species, and this book had 800 species. So I really want to thank Nikhilji and Delhi Bird for this. Then I live in Kangra, which is very close to Pong Lake and Dharamshala, and it is one of the best birding places in the country because one can see more than 550 bird species in Kangra district only. So I was posted for 4 years in Mandi Medical College, but currently I am practicing dermatology in Dharamshala. So before showing you the birds, I will first throw some light on the topography and birding hotspot of the state so that you can understand the situation better. So Himachal, it lies in North India in the lap of Himalayas. So there is wide variation in the altitude of the state. The greenish area that you can see in the western part and in the southern parts, these are part of the Great North Indian Plains, and the lowest altitude here is 250 meters. And then comes the Shivalik Hills. Here, the most of the biodiversity lies. And after that are lesser Himalayan and greater Himalayan ranges, which reaches up to 7,000 meters. And beyond that, there is a trans-Himalayan region of Spiti. So you can see the wide variation between 250 meters and 7,000 meters. So this wide variation results in great diversity in the climate and habitat, which in turn result in great diversity in the bird life of the state. So at one end is Dharamshala, which was the second wettest place in the country, and at other end is Spiti Valley, which is a cold desert. So something about the birding hotspot of the state. So in the north, there are remote high altitude valleys of Pangi, then Lahol, then Spiti, and in the eastern part of the state lies the Rakcham Chitkul Wildlife Sanctuary. And in the southernmost part, there is a Simbalbara National Park, or officially known as Sher Jung National Park. In the central Himalaya, there is a Great Himalayan National Park, and close to it is Jalodi Pass. Pong Lake lies in the western part of the state, and Dharamshala Hills are close to it. So these are the habitat shots of some of these birding hotspots. First is Pong Lake. The Pong Lake lies between the northern plains and the Himalayas, and provide a wonderful and very important habitat for the wintering and migrating birds. It is a large man-made reservoir on Beas River, and the area is about 156 square kilometer. And for about 450 bird species has been recorded here. So it is one of the best birding area of the country. And you can see various water birds, various larks and pipits, and sometimes vagrants like Hooper swan and European golden plover. So this is the Shah Nahar barrage area of the Pong Lake. Here marshes patches are present. So one can see rails, bitterns, and sometimes the special birds like white-crowned penduline tit and rusty-rumped warbler. So the Pong Lake is close to Dharamshala Hills, and it takes around 1.5 hours to reach there. Then other is Great Himalayan National Park. It is about 6 hours from Dharamshala, and here there are large undisturbed conifer forests and beautiful alpine meadows, and it is home to one of the most important birds of the Himachal, namely Western Tragopan, which is the state bird, and chief pheasant. Then is the Rakcham Chitkul Wildlife Sanctuary. This is a Chitkul village, which lies in the beautiful Baspa River Valley, and at the altitude of 3,400 meters. The shrubs around the village and the dense forest on the other side of the river provides a breeding habitat for various birds like white-bellied redstart and beautiful rose finch. Then Jalodi Pass, it is around 6.5 hours from Dharamshala, and here steep road ascends through the dense conifer forest, and at the top there is alpine meadow with rhododendron shrubberies in the periphery. So it is the best place to see white-throated tit in Himachal. In the southern part, there is Sher Jung National Park. It lies adjacent to the Kalisar National Park and Sanctuary, and there are moist sal forests in it. And the hooded pitta and crow-billed rongo are the star birds of this park. Then the high altitude remote valley of Pangi. In this photo, you can see the snow-covered peaks, mountain peaks, and on the slope are growing the Himalayan birch or Bhojpatra trees. And in this habitat, I found a pair of orange bullfinch. And below is the trans-Himalayan landscape of Spiti Valley. It is a cold desert. The bird density and diversity is very less here, but some of the high altitude specialist birds live here, which are seen nowhere else in the state, like streaked rosefinch. And then on the right is below is the majestic Chandratal Lake, and here you can see various migrating birds. So Himachal has been covered well ornithologically in the past, and here are some of the important publications from the state. Whistler has done a great job in making the list of some of the districts of the state. My favorite one is Birds of Kangra by Dan Beston because it helped a lot in the initial days of my birding. Then 65 bird species has been recorded in the state, which is about half of the total number of species recorded in India. So you can see how rich the state is. And out of the 11 West Himalayan endemic birds mentioned by BirdLife International, 6 breeds in Himachal. And I have divided these special birds for this presentation in 3 categories. First is winter visitor, then breeding birds, which include summer visitors and residents, then passage migrants and vagrants. So all the photos in this presentation has been clicked by me in Himachal, otherwise mentioned. Then first winter visitors, and common wood pigeon. This pigeon is rare in India and mainly seen in Western Himalayas. Before 2017, I had only flight shots of this bird, but I tried to get to see this bird in perched at various locations, but I failed. Small flocks can be seen in flight, usually around Dharamshala in winter and migration season. Then on one day in January 2017, when I was driving to Mandi after spending a weekend at home, then I suddenly saw a huge flock of common wood pigeons above my car. So I was so mesmerized that I was about to met an accident, but I had a narrow escape. Then I stopped my car and saw, and there were around 400 wood pigeons in the valley, and soon they settled on the deodar trees. Then I was unfortunately not carrying the camera. Then next, fortunately, next Monday, I again got the birds. Then in a different location, they were in the village fields and they were covering all the trees found in those fields. You can see some of these trees in the slide, and you can see used to call them as pigeon trees. So these were all covered by the pigeons, and I could also make some good shots of this bird. And in the next 2 months, the bird was seen during my every visit to this area at one or other location. In fact, this was the most numerous bird of the valley. And in late Feb 2017, I visited the area with my friends Pranjal Saikia and Rajiv Das, and then we saw a huge number of pigeons flying over us. Flocks were coming one after another, and we recorded around 3,000 to 4,000 birds within 10 to 15 minutes. So this is the highest number of birds recorded in India. And during the winter of 2016 and 17, the bird was seen at various locations in Himachal and Uttarakhand in good numbers. Even at those places where like Pong Lake and Corbett Tiger Reserve, from where there were no previous record. And in subsequent winter, the bird was not seen in such a huge number. So this was a unique phenomena which happened only in that year. So then Chetty's warbler, it is another rare winter visitor to North India, and before 2017, no good picture of this bird was available. So I was just traveling back from Mandi to home by a different route. Then I saw this pond, which you can see in the slide. This was a small pond along the road, and I decided to check the place because I have the habit of exploring new habitats for the birds. And then after a few minutes, I heard a chick call, and I thought that it might be mustached warbler, and I waited quietly there. And then after 10 minutes, some Rufus warbler came, Rufus brown warbler popped up. I immediately identified it. It was as Chetty's warbler because of its large tail, which was held in cocked up position. So I had also seen it in Pong Lake and at Harike, but I failed at both these times to click the bird. Then I rushed to my car for the camera, but I couldn't locate the bird after coming back. So I came home and I shared my disappointment with Manoj Sharma that I couldn't click the bird at 3 different times. Manoj Sharma is a very experienced birder from Corbett Tiger Reserve, and I used to take advice from him every time. So he told me that every bird loves morning sun during the winter. So next time I visited the area before sunrise, and the advice worked. The bird was more active at that time and it was more vocal and coming out for some time, and then it gave some time to click this bird. And in the left, which you can see, is the first decent photograph of this bird from India. So later on, I developed some relation with the bird, and I clicked a lot of individuals of Chetti's warbler at different locations. And later, this bird was also found at a few locations around Delhi, but still very few photographs of this bird exist because it is extremely difficult to click. So next is brambling and chaffinch. These two closely related species are high in the wish list of the birders coming to Dharamshala. So अतुल जी ने तो मेरा नाम ही अभिनव चाफिंच करके सेव किया था. And in the left, you could see the brambling male and female. Both these sexes shows beautiful shades of orange. And in the right is chaffinch male and female. You can see the bright gray in the crown and nape of the bird. It is an adult male coming in breeding plumage. So one other important feature is that the brambling has white rump and the chaffinch has greenish rump. So in the flight, you can easily identify these birds. So both of these species prefer open habitat with sparse tree cover, and these village fields at the outskirts of Dharamshala are perfect wintering home for these birds. And you can see the brambling eating some wild fruit. It is a Pyrus passia fruit, or locally known as canth. And it is a favorite, favorite food for both of the species. And chaffinch and brambling are found in there in good numbers, where the tree is found in good numbers. So in the right, you can see 5 species of bird in a single frame. It is a canth or Pyrus passia tree. And at the top, you can see pine bunting with a whitish belly. It is out of focus. And below that is much commoner rock bunting. In the center is chaffinch male, then brambling male, and at the bottom, you can see some hint of yellow. It is yellow hammer, the most important bird among these 5 birds. And back in 2012, there was heavy snowfall in Dharamshala Hills, above 2000 meter. Then D.S. Dadwalji told me that these birds have arrived in these fields, and his home is very close to these fields. And then I invited Atul Jain, Manoj Sharma, and Sharad Sridhar to see these birds, because back then these 4 birds were considered very rare. And Sharad Sridhar is the one who taught me the basics of bird photography, and I'm thankful to him. And then they all arrived, and we spent a lovely morning session of birding there. We saw around 10 to 15 pine buntings and 2 yellow hammers, about 30 plus bramblings, few chaffinches, and there were lots and lots of plain mountain finches, around 300 to 400. And 50 snow pigeons and other usual birds like rock bunting, red stars. So it was an amazing birding day. All were very happy. All of these birds were in a very compact place, so the density was very high. It was an amazing experience. And the 2 other birds are yellow hammer and pine bunting. Yellow hammer was considered as a vagrant at that time. And there were only 2-3 sightings of this bird from India before 2012. And this bird is most commonly seen in a flock of pine bunting. These 2 birds looks different, but these are very closely related, and they frequently hybridize. So I have even recorded hybrid of pine buntings and yellow hammer in Himachal. So I have been recording these all these 4-5 birds for the past 5 to 10 years. So I checked their pattern. The chaffinch is visiting the area in low numbers and is very much regular, whereas the brambling is something irregular, and its number fluctuates. And in 2016, I observed a flock of about 200 to 250 brambling in these fields, and this was the highest number of birds ever recorded in India. Then long-eared owl. I clicked these photographs back in January 2015. At that time, it was considered as a super rare bird, and there were only a few photographic records of this bird from India. So I heard, I saw in Discovery Channel that short-eared owl and long-eared owls migrate together in Europe. So I used to screen the short-eared owl, which are visiting Pong Lake. So one day in January 2015, when I was observing the short-eared owls in a bamboo plantation at the shore of Poor Lake, I saw this owl, a very slim-looking owl with long-eared tufts. So I immediately identified it as a long-eared owl. So I was delighted because it was the first photographic report for the state. Then incidentally, Jenny Maria, she is one of the leading wildlife photographer of India, and she visited Dharamshala for chaffinch and brahmling. Then I told her, and it was a lifer for her too. We visited the place on the next day and extensively searched the whole area, but couldn't see the owl. So after repeated tries, I found the owl after a month at the same location, and it was not seen thereafter. Then few other special birds. One is common ring plover. Pong is one of the best places in India to see this bird. You can see in the left, you can see the common ring plover in non-breeding, and in the right is in breeding plumage. It is a winter visitor and passage migrant to Pong Lake. And below left is buff-bellied pipit. Again, Pong is the best place to see this bird in the country. And previously, it was considered as a super rare bird, but then in 2012, Surat Singh Puniaji found it in Tal Chapar. And then I thought that I might find this bird in Pong Lake because all the regular pipits except the Nilgiri pipit has been recorded in the Pong Lake. So my intuition was right. And during the next winter in 2013, I found the bird with Alka Vaidya. And this was the first record of the buff-bellied pipit for the state. Then Eurasian skylark is another specialty of Pong Lake. In Western India, it is slightly difficult to see this bird, but in Pong Lake, you can easily see this bird during the winter. The best months are October and November, where the bird is seen in very good numbers. And you can even see more than 500 birds in half an hour or hour driving to the flats of the Pong Lake. And nowhere else in the country you can see such huge numbers of this uncommon bird. Then I will come to breeding birds of Himachal. So this is the Western Tragopan, the state bird, the most important breeding bird of Himachal. So at that time I had clicked so many birds, but this bird was least. So I tried for this bird in 2010, then in 2013, and then 2015, but I failed in all three trips. In first two trips, I went to Shilt area of Great Himalayan National Park. GHNP is the best site to see this bird. And in 2015, I went to Khurlipoi area of the Tirthan Valley of this national park with Jenny Maria, but again failed to see this bird. We only saw the evidences of its hunting. And later in 2019, I saw the beautiful photographs of this species clicked by Vinay Kumar. So I requested him that I also want to see this species. So he's in forest department and posted in Great Himalayan National Park. And he has thorough knowledge of flora and fauna of the park. Then we decided to go to the Sanj Valley of the national park for a 7-day trip. And on the second day, after a steep ascent, we reached the Humkhani meadow in the Sanj Valley. It was a beautiful meadow surrounded by conifer trees and other shrubs. And Vinay had seen one area where the Western Tragopan was more frequent. So we used to get up early in the morning and then start for that area to reach there early because Tragopan is more active during early morning. So then on the third day, we had a glimpse of Western Tragopan, but we couldn't click it. So I was very disappointed that I had missed an opportunity. And on the next day, we had a close encounter with the brown bear, and we ran. जिन स्लोप्स पे चला भी नहीं जा रहा था उस पे हम भागते हुए निकल गए. So this was a very unique experience. And then we couldn't see the bird during next 2-3 days. And then the last day came and when we were planning to leave the place, and then suddenly male western tragopans appeared and walked in front of us, and then started feeding on the shoots of a shrub. So we made some good shots, and this is one of them, and this is another. And you can see this is a beautiful male in breeding plumage. We were very lucky to click this bird, as it has become extremely shy because of long history of hunting. Then even in 1884, Charles Marshall wrote, who was posted in Chamba, that this pheasant is plentiful in Chamba, but its number is decreasing because of widespread hunting. So an ban on hunting in breeding season was imposed, and after that it was only hunted in during winter, and about 1200 skins were collected in every winter. So see the level of hunting. Imagine the hunting in the past 2 centuries. So now the world population is 5,000, and at that time perhaps this much number were hunted in a single place every year. So we need to save this species, because this is currently also, even at present, it is badly hunted. Now the other bird is West Himalayan bush warbler. So only few people have seen this bird, because warblers are not popular among bird photographers, and it is found in the alpine meadows above 3,000 meters, which are difficult to. I thought to find some accessible place so where we can see this bird. So I did some R&D, and I finalized Chanchal Pass for this. Although the bird was not reported from this location, but it was well within the distribution range of the bird, and the road was going till 3,700 meters. So I thought this is the perfect place to find the warbler. So I went there in June 2017 with my friend Vijay Guleria, and within around half an hour or hour, we found the bird near the pass in a buff rhododendron. We recorded around 5 birds, and one bird was very different looking bird. It has very warm rufous color of the plumage. So next year in June 2018, I went to Sach Pass with my wife after a few weeks of marriage. Then I saw some suitable habitat at Satrundi. It was out of the distribution range of the bird, but still I checked the area, and fortunately I found 3 birds there. So I returned there after a month, and to know more about the bird. And then there was no hotel around that place, and then I stayed in a temporary dabba, so as to save the valuable travel time. So I spent next 2 days there exploring the hill slopes to find this bird, and I recorded around 15 individuals. Later I came to home, and then I saw all of these photographs, and the results were astonishing. There was wide variation in the plumage of this bird. The West Himalayan bush warbler, it is unique among its genus in having 2 morphs. One is classical morph, which has a tone of gray on its face and belly, and other is buff-breasted or buffy morph, where these shades are absent. So in the left, you can see the classical morph. It showed variation. The variation was in the tone of gray and in the spotting. You can see at the bottom left, you can see the dark gray bird showing the gray on cheeks and on the belly. And in the right is the buffy morph. It showed variation in the tone of buff, which ranged from warm buff to dull buff, and few individuals were very pale buff, like you can see here. So there was wide range of variation. I also published my findings, and so this small drab-looking bird is very interesting and shows some remarkable variation. So then is the white-throated tit. It is West Himalayan endemic bird. and Great Himalayan National Park is a good place to see this bird. So in 2013, when I was there in Shilt to see the Western Tragopan, then I was collecting water from a narrow Himalayan stream. And then suddenly 10 to 15 white-throated tits appeared from nowhere for the water. And they were all around me, even 5 feet, as close as 5 feet. And they even sat on the bucket. And तब तो ऐसा लगा कि बस ऐसे बाजू खोल दूं तो उस पे भी वो बैठ जाती. It was an amazing experience. And then in my latest trip, when we camped at Humkhani, then the bird was seen roosting around very close to the camp. So every morning and evening, we used to hear the calls of these tiny beauties for about half an hour. So we enjoyed the bird fully. And apart from the Great Himalayan National Park, Jalodi Pass is another good place to see this white-throated tit. And in half of my visits to the Jalodi Pass, I was able to record this bird. Then another good bird, orange bullfinch. It is considered that one can only see this bird in Kashmir, but this bird can also be seen in the Lahore and Pangi valleys of Himachal. I have clicked these photographs in Pangi Valley, and during winter, rarely it can be seen in the Chamba district, Kangra district, and Kullu district of the state. Then these four are special birds of Kinnor, and although they can be seen at other places in Himalayas, but this Kinnor is best place to see these birds. The beautiful rose finch is the first. And back in 2010, I found this bird in near to Sangla, and long before it was seen recorded by others in Chitkul. In Chitkul, the population of this beautiful rose finch is good, and you can see them easily feeding in the fields around the village, along with other rose finches. And then white-bellied redstart, it is a very pretty bird and star bird of Chitkul. You can see it easily in the shrubs around the village and even within the village. So once I recorded immature male about 100 meters from the rest house and a singing male about 250 meters from the rest house. So you can even say to your caretaker that तुम खाना लगाओ मैं अभी बस फोटो खींच के आता हूँ redstart की. तो इतना easy है वहाँ. And then Blythe's rose finch. It is a rare rose finch which is identified by its large bill and silvery scales on the head. And it can be seen sometime feeding around the shrubs in the cold desert of Poo block of Kinnor and in Spiti Valley. And then pied whittier, the encounter rate of pied whittier is maximum between Poo village and Nako village of Kinnor. Then a few other special breeding birds of Himachal. First is mountain scope owl. Mountain scope owl is an elusive species, so it is frequently heard but difficult to see. And I had failed several times to click this. But in 2019, I found out that a healthy population is thriving in a hill near to my residence in Mandi. So I was amazed to see it at 800 meters because it is seen much higher up in summer. So I found a bold individual and I clicked it on several occasions. Another owl is Himalayan owl. It is widespread but found in low numbers. Then spectacled finch. It is a very good bird to see, another West Himalayan endemic. And Shimla water catchment wildlife sanctuary is best place to see this finch in Himachal. Then crow-billed drongo is the rarest drongo species of India, and it is a summer visitor to Sherjang National Park in the southern Himachal. Then some of the passage migrants and vagrants. Red-throated pipit. So it winters in Andamans, and it is a passage migrant to the mainland India, and where it is rare. So back in 2016, I saw a flock of 10 to 12 birds in the flats around the Pong Lake. And the unusual thing was that they stayed there for 3-4 weeks and seen in every visit and stick to the same area. So I made some beautiful shots of this pipit. And after this sighting, every year I recorded this pipit in Pong in March, April. Then European golden plover, back in 2013, end April 2013, I was birding on the flats of the Pong Lake. I was on bike. Then I saw a very heavy looking plover in the flats. So I couldn't identify it. But I knew at that time that pluvialis plovers can be identified by the pattern of the underwings. So I put some effort and clicked the underwings of this bird. And then I came back home and checked the pattern of underwings. So gray or black-bellied plover has black axillaries, whereas in Pacific golden plover it is a dirty brown, and the European golden plover it is pure white, so pure whitish underwing covered. So this was my bird. So I was very excited and thrilled because this was the first photograph of this species from India. And luckily, on my second visit too, I found a pair of European golden plover along with Pacific golden plover. So the differences between these two species became apparent. So in the right is European golden plover and the left is Pacific. So the European golden plover is around 2 feet back behind the Pacific, but still it is looking much bigger and bulkier than the Pacific golden plover. So you can also see that the Pacific golden plover has a larger bill proportionately, and the golden markings on the European golden plover are much finer than the Pacific golden plover. So I also published this record. Then falcated duck. Falcated duck, I saw this in Sundarnagar Lake. The Sundarnagar Lake is situated in the middle of the Sundarnagar town, and there are about 250 to 300 ducks visit it during every winter. And due to the presence of tourists around this lake, they are very bold. So I used to visit the lake to get some good shots of common ducks. And then in Jan 2017, when I was scanning the ducks, then suddenly I saw this unmistakable duck with the green head. I was overjoyed because I was not expecting this rare duck in the middle of a town. So this was the sighting. Then I clicked few photographs. But as I was carrying a big lens, somehow my birding activities looked suspicious to the people, and they reported it to the security of the dam. Then the security people stopped me and they told me that that photography is prohibited in the area. Then I told them that all are clicking photographs. But then they said कि वो तो कैमरा से छोटे, वो तो मोबाइल से फोटो ले रहे हैं, तुम तो बड़े कैमरे से ले रहे हो. Then I took permission from the in charge of security, and then again went to the lake to click the bird. Earlier in January and earlier February, there was thick fog, so I couldn't click the duck properly. And when the fog cleared, then usually the sun was unfavorable. So we need the sun in favorable position to show the iridescence of this duck. So I visited the lake several times, and on about 10 to 12 visit, the fog was less on that day, and the sunlight was on a perfect angle. And then I clicked this photo, which shows beautifully the iridescence of its head. Then Hooper swan. So back in January 2013, I got the unexpected news that these swans have has been recorded in Pong Lake. So it was completely unexpected. They were seen in India after a gap of about 113 years. So next morning I went to the lake and clicked these majestic birds. And they were so huge that even the large geese were looking very small in front of these beautiful birds. Then forest department also deployed forest guards to protect these birds. They stayed there for full winter. And then cone crake. So it is another good bird. In 2017, Jenny and I clicked this bird in Spiti. And after the important inputs by Ankit Vikrant, so Jenny has already told its story in her Delhi bird talk. So I am not going into detail, but this was the second photograph of cone crake from India, mainland India. Then these are some of the extreme rarities of Himachal. First is Bohemian waxwing. So Raj Rawal clicked 3-4 birds near his house in Ruwaling, Lahore in 2017. That year, Lahore received a heavy snowfall, and the valley was cut off from rest of the world. So birders were thinking, exploring various routes to reach this valley, but all roads were blocked. And Atul Jain even considered hiring a helicopter along with other birders to see this part. Then rustic bunting, Gajendra Verma clicked this bird a few months ago in Chamba, and it was the second record of rustic bunting from India. And interestingly, third and fourth record of this rare bunting happened in the same month from Lahore and Ladakh. Then the third one is red-breasted goose. It was clicked by Mukesh Diman in Pong Lake in 2014, and it was the second photograph of this bird from India and third record. So I went there the very next day, but I couldn't find the bird. Then other is red-necked grape. It was first reported in India from Pong Lake back in 1985, and it was again photographed here in 2010. And then again, it showed up in Leh, Ladakh, where Garima Bhatia clicked this beautiful photograph. Then these are some of the rare visitor to the state. White-crowned pendulum tit can be seen in the Sthana, the outflow area of the Pong Dam. They're having few records. And if you are extremely lucky, then you may see rufous-tailed rock thrush during the migration season. And sometimes very unexpected birds are seen in Himachal during the migration. I found this steppe grey shrike in Pong, which is usually seen only in the western India, and found rusty-rumped warbler in the outflow area of Pong. And it was the first record for the northern India. So this was all from my side, and thank you.
So, thank you so much. I think it was absolutely a visual treat. I think so many rarities and the quality of the picture, and of course the narration and how did you find it, I think is extremely interesting. So I think let's open now forum for the questions. But before anybody asks any question, I would like to ask you the first question.
Yes, please.
What would you think is the most special sighting for you until now?
Without any doubts, European golden plover is my best sighting because it was my first rare bird, and it was the first photographic record for India too. And even till now, there have been no other photograph from India. And the best thing which I enjoyed the most is that I didn't have any much experience in these plovers. Before this sighting, I had only seen one Pacific golden plover and one gray plover, and this was my third pluvialis plover. So, and during my next visit, my score was 2 European golden plovers, 2 Pacific golden plovers, and 1 gray plover. So this was my best sighting.
That sound interesting. I think one of the question which is Anirudh is asking, from where exactly this common wood pigeons migrate to Himachal or to India?
Few of them also breeds in Jammu and Kashmir, and others breed further north. There are different races of common wood pigeon. This is the eastern race. Other races are found in the Europe, and further north in the Siberia. These birds breeds.
Another question from Deepak is that, what is the best month for the Western Tragopan?
April, May, even in June, but end April and May is the best time when the bird is more vocal and more active.
I think there are a lot of questions, what is the best time to visit Pong Lake? I think Pong Lake has elicited, a lot of interest.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a common question which is being asked by a lot of people.
Because maximum numbers of bird are seen in Pong, so it is the main destination. So this early December, November are good. Then in December, January, the fog may be there, which may spoil some hours of birding. And then late Jan and Feb are also good. So early Feb and November is the best time. You can see maximum number of species.
Yeah, I would guess so, because I think leave aside there are some of the passage migrants which can turn up in September. I think winter months are very good. Especially I think people don't realize how rare is Eurasian skylark to see anywhere else.
yeah. But it also depends which bird you want to see. Some like Eurasian skylark is best seen in October, November, and some like red-throated pipit are seen in April. And these lesser white-fronted goose, it is mainly seen in February month. So it depends upon the birds. What is your main target?
One of the other interesting questions somebody asked was, if, of course you can't include all of it, right? And I know that you have photographed most of the birds, right? What else you would have included in the talk? Just the names of the birds.
Actually, I want to include a lot of birds, but few of them are greater white-fronted goose, lesser white-fronted goose, then Eversman redstart, little gull. There are lots of birds like Tibetan blackbird, then hooded pitta, and northern goshawk. So there are lots of birds.
And one of the questions, a titan of birding industry, Adesh, he's asking, what would be the 5 to 6 days itinerary you would like to suggest, which will get, all the special birds? Difficult question.
Yeah, very difficult, because it depends upon the place where you want to go. Like if you want to go to Spiti to get its bird, then it only takes 2 hours and 2 days or 2.5 days to reach there from Chandigarh. So for 4 or 5 days are spent only on the travel. So it depends which area you are focusing on. If you are coming to Dharamshala and Pong, then yes, 5 days are enough. 2 days, 2-3 days in Pong and 2-3 days in Dharamshala Hills. And if you are going only to Chitkul, then 2-3 travel days and 2 days are sufficient. Means one should at least spend 3 sessions in Chitkul village, 2 morning and 1 evening, if you want to photograph the bird. And then you can spend 2-3 sessions between the Chitkul and Nako village. So at least 6 birding sessions and plus the travel time if you are going to that area. And if you are going to national park, then then you need to do trekking and it takes a lot of time. And if you are going for Tragopan, then you have to keep at least few days at the spot to click the bird and to see the bird. So at least 7 days for 5 to 7 days for national park. It depends upon the area where you are going.
I think one of the question which has been asked by Mr. Murthy, he's a very seasoned birder. And what he's asking is that, a lot of these rarities, turn up because of, weather conditions. And I still remember, when there was a snowfall, and all of these, chaffinch and brownlings were seen in big numbers, right? When we had gone to see. So do you think that, the same kind of disturbance can create a similar condition to, look at the rarities? Do you think that? Have you observed that,
Can you repeat the last line?
Okay, so because of the disturbance, you see rarities turning up, right? So
yes.
Have you noticed that the same kind of disturbance again and more rarities coming in? So then we know that, okay, moment there is a snowfall which is not supposed to be, there's going to be some rarities coming in. And what we have seen with all these cyclones, right? We know that moment the cyclone comes in, there would be some rarities in the mainland. So do you think that
Actually, before this heavy snowfall, the birds are there in the upper reaches of the hills. So the more habitat is present there, and less birders are going there. So birds are actually there, and after the snowfall, they descend and they come to the habitats where we do frequent birding. So they are seen, and the moment the snow melts, and they sometimes return back. Some birds stay there, and while other retreats. So the snowfall is very important to see these birds. But if you can go higher up, but the chances are less that you will get these birds.
okay? Last question, I'll take it from Oppo17. I don't know who this gentleman or lady is. What would be the scope of birding in Chamba Valley? It's very unexplored. So what would you
Yes.
comment?
I have not done much birding in Chamba, but it is very. It is also a good place to bird. Like in there is one Kalatop Wildlife Sanctuary. Here you can see koalas and chief pheasant, and the Kupti Wildlife Sanctuary is very beautiful valley. You must go there, and there also you can find good birds. Then Pangi Valley, but it is difficult to reach there. The birds, you can find some special birds like this orange bullfinch and Kashmir, that large spotted nutcracker, but it is difficult to reach there. But yes, Chamba is a good place to bird. The forest cover is good, and you can see the good.
All right, so I think let's call it a day for this, absolutely, fabulous presentation and a visual treat.
Yeah.
I know that you have really worked and put in a lot of energy to create, this presentation for everybody. So again, thank you so much from Delhi Bird.
Yeah.
And a very nice evening to all of you.
Yeah. Before we end the talk, thank you, Atul. Thank you, Dr. Abhinav. Just for the benefit of all the viewers, I'll just tell us the next talk for next week. So next week we have Usha Lachungpa giving a talk on the wildlife of Sikkim. This is on the 18th of July, again at 5 p.m. using the same Zoom meeting ID. So hope to see all of you there for that talk as well. It's going to cover the birds, mammals, and general wildlife of Sikkim.